Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and welcome back to the hashtag Deacon Walk 2023. This is a tag that Marlena Teresa was doing. I had started, and so I've been following along. Kind of lazy this time because I have yet to do the spread. I did watch her video earlier and showed the spread that she had made up. But I know nothing about Gemini. I don't know anyone that it was born under the sign of Gemini, which is a whole new decan we're in. I should have said that. I'm sorry. So we moved past Taurus into Gemini at this point. We're at Gemini Decan 1. I don't know anything about Gemini. I didn't even know it was an air sign. I didn't remember that it was an air sign. I had to look it up. And I am reading, which everybody else is, to The 36 Secrets by T. Susan Chang. I know that it's a mutable sign, which I still not quite. Marlena Teresa said that it means it was not, it's like the in-between, and we're between, because we're between spring and summer, like that couple week period between the two. So that's kind of where we're at, or a few weeks in between. So that's where the Gemini sign comes up on the decan wheel as the mutable sign. And then this is the symbol for air, which I didn't know. I thought it was a water sign. For some reason, I've thought Gemini was a water sign for a long time. I don't know why. And then I was having a hard time finding a deck that I wanted to do. So I'm trying to do decks specifically based on the earth, air, fire, water for the spread she's creating. I had a hard time finding one that was air for me because a lot of them I would think of as water. So it's weird. I've had to kind of retrain my brain today. It's not a water sign. It's an air sign. On that note, the first decan of Gemini is Jupiter in Gemini. And the card that corresponds with that is the Eight of Swords, and it's from May 21st today to May 31st. So the Eight of Swords is this card here, and it says right here, first decan of Gemini. And then Jupiter represents the wheel. And then, of course, Gemini itself represents the Lover's card. So here are the two cards that kind of coincide and make up the Eight of Swords, is how I look at it. Now, it's funny because since I've been doing this decan walk, I've been diving deep into one thing, one energy or another. Like one I would jump into either what the planet for that sign meant, or how the energy affected me and made me feel for that sign itself. And so I just find it interesting that this time I don't have any feelings one way or another toward the energies, because I myself have had specific dealings with each of these cards. I'm having a hard time seeing past the cards themselves into the energy of Jupiter or into the energy of Gemini. So because it's represented by the Lovers, which was the year I started reading tarot, like diving in deep, the Lovers was my card of the year, and I dove deep into the Lovers card. The Wheel of Fortune has always been a card, especially in the Light Series, which I'll show you in a second. It's always been a card that I almost want to say hedge your bets, but it's a cyclical cycle that just keeps going and going and going, and it's up to you to decide which way it goes. And that's the way I feel about the Wheel of Fortune. And then the Eight of Swords is the one card, when I thought I could not read tarot, the one card in the deck that I could relate to, which astounds me because it's not my card. It's not, for some reason I'm partial to the seed of air in tarot, and I am a Virgo, so it's like weird. I had to take a drink, sorry. But I just thought it odd. Where's my phone at? I just thought it odd when I saw Marlena Teresa talk about, and it totally makes sense when she was talking about this is her card and her setup because she's a Gemini. And I totally got what she was saying. I totally understood every bit of it. And she said, and I wrote it down here, not what she said, but my thoughts on it. Oh, and I didn't pull up the 8s. I'll do that in a minute. Marlena Teresa talks about the 8 of Swords making sense because she cannot deal with absolutes. And these are kind of almost comparing different, these two cards, the Jupiter and the Gemini, are kind of like opposing forces, always trying to be on top. And the 8 of Swords is that in-between moment when you're kind of stuck between the two energies and you don't know what to do. And it's funny because as she was saying, I cannot deal with one absolute or another, and that's where I become this 8 of Swords. I was like, I'm the opposite. That's exactly why I like the 8 of Swords. Why I also resonate with the 8 of Swords is because so much of our spiritual practice is left up to faith. Not fate, which we'll get into in a minute, but faith. Having faith that something will work out. Having faith that you're going to do this or do that or get this or do that. And for me as a Virgo, I need the absolution. I need to know. And that's kind of why I'm always in hermit mode. I'm like forever in hermit mode too, because if I'm one of those people, being a Virgo, I look at all aspects of things. If I can't make sense of something, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go forward because I'm not going to go forward in something I know or I think may fail. I need an absolute answer. And so that for me is exactly why I think it dawned on me today, another level, if you will, when she's like, well, this card kind of deals in absolutes. It's kind of why I think why I gravitate toward this card, because this is the card I look for in every deck to see if I'm going to buy it. A lot of times I will, regardless of the card or not, but, I just find that fascinating that she said she cannot deal in absolutes, and I do very much deal in absolutions. And yet for those very reasons is why we both, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Bond with the 8 of Swords. It's weird, right? So I was going to show you my Journey of the Sacred Bee. It's more thought-based. And as you can see, the 8 of Swords here, it says interference and Gemini and Jupiter. And interference, I think, is the word that she used in the Lovers here. And they have the symbols here. Here we got Gemini, and then here's the Jupiter. Lovely. And I noticed they're all like some type of orange color, which to me is fire, but whatever. Then we have my favorite, the Light Seers. Here's the Lovers, the 8 of Swords, and the Wheel. And I've had very much dealings with these 3 cards specifically. This is my favorite 8 of Swords ever because I kind of stalked the 8 of Swords. I'm like, why am I stalking this card? Well, then this was the 3rd deck I ever bought. It's my favorite deck ever, the Light Seers. I got this deck and I started messing with the cards and looking through them, and then had this epiphany of the 8 of Swords, of why I was stalking it. In fact, the first deck I ever bought that I still have never really used, the card I bonded with, I pasted onto a box I made for it because the box was crap. It is the 8 of Swords. It's the card that made me realize I had already moved on from this girl I'm seeing in the mirror. I just hadn't realized it. I used to be her. This is why I resonated with this card so deeply. I resonated with this because I used to be this person that thought they had no choices, no decisions, that couldn't make a decision, couldn't decide, couldn't their choices were taken from them. And I realized when I got this deck, this is the past. And my mind had not caught up to that yet. And it just floored me and blew me away. And then, of course, I think the same year was my Lover's card was the card of the year. And to me, it was all about self-love, self-atonement. And it just, the whole thing fit. And of course, the Wheel of Fortune, there's this light side and dark side. And there's, to me, this specific Wheel of Fortune screams of balance, finding that balance. And I told you guys, if you watch my channel for any amount of time, balance has always been a key for me because I'm always teetering. I'm always teetering. So yeah, I didn't go into the energies of Jupiter or Gemini at all, this particular Decan. I may in the next two, because we're still in Gemini for those, but it just, I was kind of walking down memory lane with these cards and how I had dove seriously deep into them when I first started my practice. But I want to show you guys a couple more. First, I'm going to show you the Oracle deck, Oracle of the Radiant Sun. We have the Jupiter and Gemini, and the word is bluff here, even though it says interference in the other card. So I just thought that was quite interesting. And then some of my favorite, this is my favorite Eight of Swords ever. But a good runner-up is from my, oh my gosh, I can't remember none of my decks. Universal Celtic Tarot, because here she is, and this is the reason I bought this deck, this card. She's surrounded by the swords. She even has two in her hands. She has wings. She can fly. She's not bound. She's not blindfolded. She is free, and she knows she's free. And I just love that. Come on, focus. Concept in this card. Plus, she's covered by the flowers. It's gorgeous. So that's my second favorite ever. Eight of Swords. And then we have, I want to show you guys some extra wheel cards. I have, this one is from my Bonestone and Earthflesh Tarot. And Marlena Teresa talked about in her video about weaving the tapestry. And I always thought about that, like this is the three fates. And it talks about that in the book. They're weaving a tapestry. Now, if you guys have ever seen the movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie, and I can't remember his name, but he did another movie, a Marvel, I think, movie. You'll know if you look it up. They are basically finding out that somebody else is weaving their fate for them. And from what I saw in her video, Jupiter in Gemini is fate versus free will. And I think here with the Eight of Swords is where you get stuck, is you want to have free will, but then does fate take over? So there's a balance that needs to be struck there, I think, because I think both are true, but at the same time, they're not. It's weird. So I love a Wheel of Fortune that has the three fates, wheeling a tapestry of the fate that's going to exist. And then we have the Dream Keeper's Tarot that has the fates written here. And then they're almost like coming apart. It's crazy. And then there you can see their shadow down here. And then there's a clock down here they're standing on. It's like time is of the essence again. And then we have my Tarot de la Nuit. And she again is weaving with the yarn. And I just love that concept in the Wheel of Fortune. And then for the lovers, of course, it's, to me, the Lovers card is all about self-love. And my Mermaid Tarot is the first card I really saw that in, where I was like, oh my God, there's a reflection of herself reflected back to her. And then, of course, we have the Next World Tarot, where she's a plus-sized lady. She's not that attractive, maybe, but she's seeing her for her. She's seeing who she is. She knows who she is. And I just think that's beautiful in the Lovers card. So that is my my Decan walk, Decan 1 for Aries, or not Aries. Aries was the first one. For, oh my gosh. I can't even think of the name of it. But then I wanted to talk to you guys, and I'm going to have to put you on hold a second. Okay, so then Marlena Teresa was talking about the 8s, or maybe I read that in the book, talking about the 8s. And we got all the 8s here. Yeah, let me move these out of the way. So we have 8 of Swords, 8 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Cups. And I just think it's interesting. I wrote, when compared to all the other 8s in the deck, it reminds me that they are cards of personal power. And it really didn't click until I was watching her video about the personal power for each of these. And then in the 8 of Swords, there seems to be a lack of personal power, because you always have the ability to take back this energy, take back this power, walk out of that situation. But I realized each of the 8s here, and I just did a thing on the 8s and didn't even dawn on me. This one's about, hard work, your finishing touches on what you're doing. This one's about, letting go of, whatever doesn't benefit you, walking into the new day. The 8 of Wands is about that bursting forth energy of just taking control and moving forward. And then we got the 8 of Swords, the stagnation of complacency. And I was like, that blew my mind, because all of these, to me, and it's become utterly clear at this point, are all about you taking back your power, your personal energy, your personal power, except the 8 of Swords. And I was like, that's crazy, because that could be another level why I signify, whatever the word is, I connect with the 8 of Swords, because for so long I had no power. I had no personal power to speak of. And then these cards have helped me, especially in this deck, because this is probably my favorite 8 of Cups also. There's so many cards in this deck that I love, because it's my favorite. It blew my mind thinking about this concept of the 8s. They're all about taking back your personal power, that fire energy, that knowing you've done a good job, knowing that you've learned something new, and it's something that you've accomplished, and then knowing that you have the ability, the capability to walk away from something that doesn't benefit you. That's very powerful. And it just was like, wow. It blew my mind. So that basically in the last, I've been kind of going over this all day, because I don't have any affiliation with Gemini whatsoever. So I'm like, how am I going to do this, Decan? And then I started reminiscing about these 3 cards, the Wheel, the 8 of Swords, and the Lovers. And I'm like, oh, I do have things to speak on these cards. So this Decan has kind of turned into a deeper dive into the cards themselves, not so much the energies, whereas the past ones have been about the energies. And like I said, with the very first one, Aries 1, I could literally feel like I was burning up for 10 days. I was like, I need to get out of this energy. It's horrible. And then it's gotten less and less as time has gone on, and we've moved into other Decans. But it's odd to me how it's changed this time. It's not about that energy. It's about the cards. And I just find that fascinating. So that is my take on Decan 1, or Gemini Decan 1. I will probably be doing the spread tomorrow night that she did. It's on Boho Tarot's channel, and I think you can download it from her, Marlena Teresa's, and I, of course, as always, will post a link to her video below. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good night. Bye.